AK Blues here with another blues tip of the day. Today's blues tip is going to be about hitting target notes for your blues leads. This is a very important step to taking your blues leads from plain old pentatonic minor up to something that sounds truly like you're saying something on the guitar. So what are target notes? Well, simply put, if you're playing in a certain key, target notes are the notes that make up the chords that you're playing over, chord tones. Now, target notes can mean other things, but for what we're talking about, when I say target notes, I'm talking about chord tones. So the chord that you're playing over has notes that make up that chord. Those notes are somewhere near or within the scale you're playing, so you target them. A guitar solo shouldn't be just a random series of notes that just come together one after another. They need to be phrases. They need to say something, and they need to have starts and finishes, beginnings and ends with middle parts, and they need to do all those things to make them interesting. And your target notes, your chord tones, are really good to use for the beginnings and endings of your phrases. In fact, really more importantly for the end, because that's the exclamation point on your phrase, on what you're trying. But if you know the notes that make up each of the three chords and where to find them within your scale, then you can say something with the guitar solo. So we're actually going to focus on a blues chord progression because, well, that's what I do. So a standard blues chord progression, which they call 1-4-5, means it's the 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord are the 3 chords you play over. So for an A, it's going to be an A, a D, and an E, which is what we're going to kind of demo here today. But they're all three going to be dominant 7 chords. And I mean, there are minor blues chord progressions where all the chords are minors or minor 7s. And the same theory still applies. If you know the notes that make up the chord, then you use those notes. But we're going to, for example, we're going to talk about dominant 7 blues. So the dominant 7 chord has a root, a major third, a fifth, and a minor 7th. And before you say, hey, I don't want to know this theory stuff, what are you throwing this out there for? I just want to jam on some blues. It's not that hard because you don't have to memorize the names of all those notes. You don't have to know that if we're an A, a major third is a C sharp. You don't have to know that if we're an A fifth is going to be an E. You don't need to know that your minor 7th is a G. All you need to know is the pattern. So what we're going to do is we're going to stay in A, and we're actually going to come up here to the 12th fret of the A string, which is an A, and we're going to kind of show you the pattern from here because you've got more flexibility. You can go down strings and up strings in pitch instead of down at the 5th fret where you're already on low string. So from here, if I'm on that A and I want to go up to a major third, I simply go over 1 fret or over 1 string and down 1 fret. There's your major third, right? If I go up 1 string and up 2 frets, I get a 5th. Standard power chord shape, right? Right? That's your 5th. You can also go down 1 string on the same fret. That's also a 5th, okay? Okay? And then for your minor 7th, you're going to go up 2 strings, but stay on the same fret. So that's your minor 7th. And this can be done anywhere on the fretboard for any chord, any root note that you want to do it. And the only exception is if you're over here on the G, you've got to watch out for that nasty B string, because now instead of, if I go to the A, for example, here on the G string, which is 14th fret, instead of going for my major third, it's the same fret. That's actually, that's a minor third shape, but same fret, that's your major third instead of 1 fret down. And the 5th also goes up 2 frets, so, or up 1 fret, so instead of up 2 frets, you're up 3, right? The lower 5th is still down here, and the minor 7th is still same fret, 2 strings high. The question is, where do they fit in with the pentatonic minor? Because my goal for you with this video is to do something in A and start off with a pentatonic minor, but I want you to find those notes within that box shape. Where do they exist? So you can hit them fluidly while playing the scale. And you'll find that 3 of the 4 notes in your 1 chord and your 4 chord all exist within the scale. Your root on your A is obviously in the scale. Your 5th is in the scale because that's your, it's right there, you know, your 1-4, 1-3, 1-3, 1-3, 1-4, 1-4 pentatonic minor scale, right? You know, you guys all know that one. And then your minor 7th off the A, 2 strings over a same fret, that's also in there. And if you look at your 4 chord, those same intervals are in the scale too. The root, the 5th, and the minor 7th. The notes that aren't is the major thirds. They're outside of the box, okay? And when you move to your 5 chord, you'll find that the root and the minor 7th, or sorry, the 5th and the minor 7th, yeah, I was right there. There it is. Well, I'll get it. They are within the box, but your 5th and your major third are not. But that's what makes it cool, because those notes are outside the box, and that's the spice. That's what makes it interesting. Now you've got extra notes to add to that pentatonic scale, and they really bring it out. So what I want you to do is play over some blues progressions and use this. If you know the other positions of the pentatonic minor, and I've got a great video about that, you can work those chord tones into there too. Learn where they're at and try ending your phrases on different intervals. Try, when you're over A, try ending it on the minor 7th and see how that sounds with the backing track, with the band behind you, and see how it sounds in on a third, major third. And you'll see that they kind of add different flavors, different spices that you can throw in. So it went a little long. I didn't want to dive that deep, but I can't stop talking sometimes about this stuff. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, keep practicing.